Hello, everyone. This is Ron here with a special edition of Xeno Nation. We're going to call this the Osmo Action DJI edition. And I have my regular co-host with me today, Marcus Crawford from the great state of Idaho. Good morning, Marcus. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, doing great. Kind of interesting watching the launch of the Osmo Action, which there were so many leaks that I guess we all knew what it would be. I was kind of hoping that DJI would pack a little surprise for us in there, and then maybe do some sort of a live introduction, but they didn't, and that's fine. A lot of information there to digest.
Yes, we were all expecting at least somebody from DJI, either in a live or recorded video, talking about the launch of the Osmo Action, and they didn't. They just dropped the event on the website, and of course, all the big time reviewers such as Peter McKinnon and Rick Smith dropped their videos immediately. And maybe some of the leaks we saw in the last couple of days was from DJI on purpose, because they knew they didn't have any live event going, so they might as well pepper things with the leaks. And of course, Marcus and I have an Osmo. We were sent Osmo Actions too, that we were under NDA that we couldn't talk about. Marcus, show your action.
Yes, it's right here.
We have our actions. We had to put them in these GoPro Hero cases so nobody would know what we had. It was kind of a trick. So we're going to give you a full review here in a few minutes. But all kidding aside, guys, Marcus, what was the thing that surprised you most about the Osmo Action that you learned either this morning or on the leaks the last couple of days?
Well, just quickly going through the specs this morning. The differentiators that I can see is the front-facing screen on the Osmo Action, and it has 1 more meter of waterproof depth. The Hero 7 is good for 10 meters. The Action, they say, is good for 11 meters. So that doesn't probably make a lot of difference. But if you look spec for spec, boy, they are pretty darn close. Specification wise, they're very similar.
Marcus, Bill Thomas brought this up. Bless you. The other night, bless you. On the got you up too early on the normal Xeno Nation broadcast. Bill Thomas brought up there were rumors that the Action would go down to 50 meters for divers, and my wife is a former diver, and I asked her, I said, well, what's a good diving range? I said, is that even important? She said nobody ever goes below 30 meters, and they rarely ever hit 30 meters. So if they would increase that diving range, it really wouldn't have made any difference. 10, 11 meters, most divers see the good stuff at that range.
There must be some stuff for drivers, because I see that GoPro offers a special dive pack, and what that is, I don't know. I didn't look into it any more than that, but there may be something more that divers like. I honestly don't know, but evidently it's something, because DJI offers it.
We're going to interrupt real fast. We have Johnny Drone Liar in here with us this morning. Senator Perry, who's a regular, and John Coopy are in here with us this morning. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Yeah, my first observations, of the Osmo Action was that it's pretty much a clone of the Hero 7 with a front-facing screen, which is a nice touch, and they lowered it by $50 to $349. But I truly believe that the Hero 7 will be $349, if not today, in the near future. The things I'll be looking for today in the reviews from the big name reviewers is some of the big complaints about the Hero 7 was the fact that the attach a microphone to it, you had to buy an external adapter that ranged from $40 to $50, and then remove the cap on the side, and that would make it non-waterproof. So if DJI has found a way to plug the mic in without an adapter and without taking the lid off, that would be a big feather in their cap. And the second biggest feature I want to see in the action is to put the screw in for your tripod, quarter-inch screw, I believe they say, in the bottom, like the GoPro knockoffs have, rather than making you put the case on and then putting that piece on that allows you to go on the tripod. I mean, it's a small touch, but people would really love it if it didn't need external case. What do you think about that, Marcus?
Yeah, though you hit on two really important things there. If you had one of those quarter third screws where you could just screw it right into a tripod, that would be huge. Also, like you said, if you try and do an external mic on this, it makes it where it's non-waterproof anymore, and that may be what that kit is. That part of the kit that they have at GoPro. Excuse me. Had to put my thoughts together there. It's early here. But hey, so I see Senator Perry is saying that it's $50 cheaper than the GoPro. List price it indeed is, although GoPro right now, if you trade in an old action camera, is $100 off, which is exactly what I did when I bought mine. I paid $300 for this, which I sent them in an old, and they don't care if it's broken or not. I had an old, broken, cheap little Chinese action camera that, by the way, was already broken, and I sent it in, and they were fine with that, and I got $100 off. So I paid essentially $300 for this. And by the way, they paid for the shipping on that too. And then John Coopy is saying that he would buy it over the Hero 7. John, I think that is valid. They have pretty comparable specs, and those of us that are within the DJI community, we would probably be interested in that. What I would say with regard to somebody that's already purchased an Osmo Pocket, I'm kind of feeling like it's a little bit of a slap in the face. I guarantee you, in fact, I'll tell you emphatically, had I known that this Osmo Sport was coming out, I wouldn't have bought that Osmo Pocket. And I bought this after I bought the Osmo Pocket, this Hero 7, because I wanted that action cam ability that this has that the Pocket doesn't. Anyway, so it is a little bit of a slap in the face to those of us that bought the Pocket. And by the way, spent a bunch of money on accessories too. What do you think about that, Ron?
Well, I totally see your point. I was torn between getting one or the other, and I kind of figured that it came down to between the Pocket and the Hero 7, and I finally thought, well, the Hero 7 may be more versatile to me, and I think you've found the same thing, Marcus. Back to John, though, saying he's going to get the DJI action over the Hero 7. I mean, they have comparable specs. I mean, basically, we talked about this before. The action camera market is so mature. What could they really improved on the Hero 7 and kept the price at or below the Hero 7? They added the screen in the front, which is nice, but somewhat of a gimmick maybe, because you can use your phone with the app as a screen. But here's the big thing on the reviews coming out is when they start doing the video comparison between the two, because specs are good, but specs don't provide a good picture. It's going to come down to side by side camera quality by we'll say the experts or the people that have both of them that can really break the video down to determine which one has the better video. And I wouldn't be surprised if most people can't even tell the difference between the video quality, but we don't know that yet. The video quality on the Osmo Action could be much better than this.
The usability too. So yeah. I'm with you. Before any of us can really decide anything, we got to see some of the reviews that I know are already posted out there, because as you say, there could be video quality differences. I kind of doubt it, but there might be.
Yeah, we don't know.
But usability issues that those guys will be able to explore would, at least for me, would probably be of more interest.
Right. Nobody wants to buy specs. I mean, no matter how good a camera specs are, it doesn't mean it's going to perform well in the field. Which
Yeah.
got
So these are my two go-to products, and what I found is in many cases the pocket I needed a wider field of view, and so that's why I bought this, and I needed something a little more rugged. This just isn't this pocket is just not something I would strap to my motorcycle or anything like that. What the pocket ultimately is a vlogging camera, and it does a great job at that. It's got some great features with regard to time lapse, although this Hero 7 has hyperlapse, and it looks like the new Osmo Sport has a lot of those features too. And I'm just telling you, I know for a fact, had I known the Osmo Sport was coming out, I wouldn't have spent the $350 that I initially spent on this, and then I probably bought, another $150 in accessories later on. So I'm easily into this guy, $500. And boy, would I have rather had that Osmo Sport. I'm just telling you, I would.
These are good points, Marcus. I think the only accessories I really bought for my GoPro was I already had a whole bunch of GoPro, like, mounts and chest straps and all that. So, I mean, I had that stuff already. I mean, not even official GoPro ones. I had knockoff ones I got cheap. The only thing I really bought for this, again, that was ND filters. And again, I don't think I even bought Polar Pros. I bought, some knockoffs that worked fine. So I didn't pay a lot for those either. So again, I had this, the ND filters, and a whole bunch of GoPro accessories I already owned already. So this didn't cost me much more than the $399 sticker price.
Hey, so we got a question in the chat here, Ron.
Yes.
Rob Muller is asking, is this the DJI presentation? Well, we kind of wish we were DJI, but no, this is just a couple of guys talking about what we saw on that presentation this morning. So,
and Rob, we would demo the Xeno action camera, but it's not ready. But when it does come out, we will have it on this channel, and we will put it head to head up against the best from GoPro and DJI. Right, Marcus?
Yeah, they're going to call it the Hubson Sport.
and it'll have the drop included in it at no extra charge.
Yeah. So Koopy is making some great points here.
Yeah. Well. Go ahead. Read some of them off, Marcus.
Well, the GoPro mic adapter is $49. So John, that's so that's disappointing, right? And that's about what I paid for the adapter for the pocket too.
And hold on, Mark. Hey, John, if the action needs a adapter, beads are coming from DJI, it'll cost $89.
Okay, that's possible. I've spent almost as much as I spent for the original camera and accessories for this guy. Hey, what I didn't see yet is if the Osmo Sport can go live like the Hero 7 can.
Well, did you see though that the Osmo actually has its own app? It won't be using the what do you call it, the what's the app called?
The Mimo app. I thought it said it was using the Mimo app.
Oh, okay. I thought it said it had its own app, so maybe it is. Maybe the Mimo app is its own app. But well, does the Mimo app have live streaming?
It does, and so that's probably what you would do.
Right. Well, of course, this has live streaming, and I've used it before, and it's okay, but it's kind of funky. I mean, it doesn't work seamlessly or whatever. In fact, Marcus, here's what I want us to test sometime. Let's do like a small, like, special Xeno Nation or something like that, where we stream just using our Hero 7s.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, we should try that.
This stream may last for 1 minute, but Marcus and I are going to try to do a future YouTube show. Again, it may be the world's shortest show, only using our Hero 7s. What do you think of that, chat room? Would you like to see a Hero 7 stream, if that's even possible? Marcus, I will work with our IT people at Build the Drone Reviewers channel to coordinate some of these more technical details. He's our IT guy on staff.
That's what it would take. That's for sure. Yeah.
We got David Perth West OZRC in the house with us. Good morning, Dave. Of course, Dave's in Perth, Australia, so it's probably late night for him. Dave's probably winding down from his day. John Coopy says generic adapters are $12. Yeah, he makes a good point that these guys have a proprietary adapter that they charge $49.99 for. But so what's the consensus in the chat room? Does everybody if you didn't own the Hero 7 today, or you didn't own any action camera today, what would you buy today? You go first, Marcus.
Well, if I didn't own the Hero 7
or any action camera,
I would be very interested in what DJI has to offer. And I'll tell you why, primarily, is because the quality of their products is top notch, and they never underdeliver. In other words, if they say that their product is going to do something, it does. And Ron, you and I run into that every day with drones. I buy a bunch of different drones just because I want to see what they are and try them out and stuff. None of them compare to what DJI offers. That's the little DJI Spark. When I was going to Arizona over the weekend and thinking about, okay, what drone am I going to take with me? Well, I took the Spark because you know what? It's portable, and I know it works, and it'll do everything it says it does. I can't say that necessarily about even the Anafi or the for sure the Xeno or that Fimi X8. And I'm not knocking those products because I like them, but DJI is at a level of quality that you can count on.
Would you say it Apple-esque?
That's exactly right.
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. For years, it's the same thing. Like if you were going to buy a laptop computer and you walked into Best Buy and got something for $200 or $300, expect it to perform like an Apple MacBook Pro, you were just kidding yourself.
Yeah. Exactly right. So I can extol the virtues of the Hubsan Xeno, and I often do, but I'm always doing it from a price perspective.
Right.
The fact that it's a value. Heck, if you've got the money, go buy that Mavic Pro or Mavic 2 Pro. Of course, that's the one you want.
Right.
But many people don't. So
or if you only have the money to buy, one drone, you might as well get again that Mavic, get the best and whatever. And it's a whole thing. Do you want to own five drones for $1,200, or do you want to own the best drone for $1,200? And that's a question you have to ask yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just looking. So we got FSU grad 03 is in the house.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Showing up, and then John Coopy again is saying that freestyle people might end up sticking with the GoPro because it looks more durable, but the DJI Action Cam has the second screen, and they might see that as a weak spot. That's a good point, John. I absolutely did not think of that.
Well, GoPro left the FPV people behind by discontinuing the sessions. A lot of people use the session on FPV racing style drones to get they call Cine-like video, and they discontinued those popular cameras. So that's interesting too.
Yeah, there is a whole ecosystem built up around GoPro, though, that is going to be really tough for DJI to crack. There's so many, not just stuff that DJI or that GoPro makes, but the aftermarket has just so many tons of stuff, and it's going to take a while. So think about this: if you buy that DJI Osmo cam, and it appears to be smaller than this, So there's a whole bunch of different accessories that you're going to have to buy to make that work. And initially, they're going to be from DJI, which means not cheap.
Right. Like of all the GoPro accessories I own, I don't think I own anything that's actually made by GoPro because they're twice the price of the knockoffs accessories.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And the knockoffs work just as good typically.
And will the knockoff accessories be more money now with this, this tariff that we're experiencing? On a side note, here, it's nothing to do with the action cameras or Zeno, but did you guys see that the DJI Smart Controller went up in price $100 because of the tariffs? It went from $649 to $749.
Yeah, that knocked me out of the ballpark for one of those. I can tell you that.
But here's an interesting side note, Marcus. The Mavic 2 bundle with smart controller stayed the same price.
I saw that. I was going through the website yesterday looking for price differences, and you're absolutely correct. So what you just brought up, Ron, makes me wonder, because what I was thinking when I saw all the leaks about the DJI Action Cam, I thought, you know what? The way that they could differentiate themselves is have all the features of the GoPro 7, but at a bargain price, like $250 or $199. Holy cow, would those things sell? People would be buying 3 of them at a time, right? But I wonder if the tariff implementation put their entry price higher than maybe what they intended. I guess we'll never know. But at $350, and if somebody's looking for an action cam, they really are so similarly priced that I don't think that's going to make a difference to anybody.
John says that GoPro, he said Ron's right, GoPro dishes with getting rid of the Hero 7, but he said he sees the Hero 7 being mounted because the hyper smooth is just amazing. John, I made a video where I put the Hero 7 on the Solo, on the 3DR Solo drone, which is far from being any type of FPV or racing drone, but I flew it around. And, with the hyper smooth, this is no gimbal, just a hyper smooth mount on it. It kind of looked like I was flying a racing drone just by the way it curved and whatever, but without the 3 axis. But the video was real stable. I mean, it said it looks like I'm flying a FPV type racing drone, but I'm flying this gigantic solo drone. So, that's a good point. John said if it was $199, he'd buy it today. What's he referring to there?
Well, he's talking about the GoPro, or excuse me, the Osmo Action, which because I brought that up, and I agree with you, John. It would be just an out of the park home run. I think even at $250. I think at $350 is going to give people pause. Now, there's a bunch of folks like us that love DJI that'll probably buy them, but if you think about the wider general public of people that don't necessarily fly drones or whatever, or know DJI from anybody else, I'm just thinking a lot of them are going to look at it as just another SJ cam or something, maybe.
Right.
I don't know that for a fact, but I do know that huge GoPro ecosystem is going to be a tough nut to crack.
And you brought up a good point. Not only is it, you're competing with, the Hero 7, but you're also competing at the low end of the market, all the knockoffs, the SJ8 and the Xiaomi E cameras. I mean, it goes on and on and on. There's a whole bunch of cameras coming out of China that have 4K and, all this stuff, and they're very affordable. You can get 4K for under $100 on a lot of these knockoffs. Yeah, and they're not as good as the Hero. They're not going to be as good as the Action, but they're good enough for a lot of people. What you got there, Marcus?
This is a Get 2. It's another Chinese knockoff, and it was my first action camera. Let me tell you, this is a phenomenal little piece. I think I paid $119 for it, and it takes great 2.7K, I think is the top on this one. And it works really well. And it was really cheap. Now, is it the same quality? The first one that I got was defective, and that's the one that I sent in and got the $100 credit for on this. But this Get Tube, they sent me another one, and man, I've used the heck out of it. It's been a phenomenal little camera. So the point we're making is there's a ton of competitive products out there on the market.
John mentioned the Firefly action camera. They said they have a lot of good Fireflies. He mentioned the S8. They're very good 4K cameras. I think the most recent Firefly even has some image stabilization too. So again, you have that, that lower end of the market biting at you too from these knockoffs, and then the Hero 7. So again, I mean, I know DJI's DJI. They make great products. Like Marcus said, they make all winners, but they're getting into like a tough category at both ends with the price, the market below them and the market above them. So I mean, I know they'll do well in this market, but I don't think they'll take it over like they did the drone market. Like in the drone market, they're the kings, and it's not even of the high end market. They're the kings, and it's not even any competition. At the middle lower range of the market, they have a little competition, but in the action camera market, they're in for a dogfight.
Yeah, so let's see. We got a couple comments here. Like FSU grad says, $250 would be his limit, and the knockoffs provide enough of what he needs, which is precisely the point we're making. Totally agree with you. And then Hugh Pollock is saying same thing. If he could buy it for 250 quid, that he could justify the price. But there again, that's where I thought that's exactly what I thought they were doing when we saw those leaks. I thought, they're going to come in with this full-featured, awesome action camera, and they're going to price it way below GoPro and own the market, steal the market. But that evidently is not the case.
Yeah, Mark, you brought up, again, we're going down a pretty good line here. This is my first GoPro. I never owned a GoPro before this one, because to me, the hyper smooth stabilization is a killer feature. Before that came out, the knockoff, I had a Xiaomi Yi, like 4K, and it was kind of like the GoPro 5, and it was fine. It was good enough for my needs. But when this came out and it had hyper smooth stabilization, I said, okay, now I'm in with GoPro, because that is the killer feature for me, not the 4K 60 or the HDR or whatever. The hyper smooth that is the killer feature. And of course, DJI, that needs to be tested too, their smoothness. But I'm sure it's going to be on par, if not better than GoPros. But again, I'm just assuming that has to be tested out. Marcus, was the same for you? The hyper smooth, was that the killer feature for you?
So that's exactly what did it. So because like most of us here, I'm kind of a DJI fan, I end up buying the Pocket. And then I realized that the Pocket, two things, that it is, when you're just walking around with it, it isn't as smooth as maybe what you would hope it would be without that fourth axis that Ken Heron talks about. But also the field of view of it is narrow enough that it didn't do a lot of the things that I wanted. And then this guy right here, when they offered that $100 discount, and that in conjunction with the Hyper Smooth, that's why I bought the Hero 7. And when I'm going someplace to do something, 9 times out of 10, I pick up the Hero 7 before I pick this up. So it's just kind of how it is. And to your point, Ron, just like, what was my action cam before? It was this guy here that I think I paid $119 for. There were, before that Hyper Smooth, there were so many other alternatives. If you were more of a casual user, that there was just no point in going full in with the GoPro. But the Hyper Smooth made the difference.
And another thing we need to test with the new DJI Action is it as rugged as the Hero 7. I mean, of course, they make all sorts of claims on what the Hero 7 could do, but I saw Brian Singleton, review it in his kitchen. I mean, he filled the sink with water. He threw it from across the room into the sink, threw it on the floor, swept it around the kitchen with a broom or whatever, and the whole time it was still recording video. And And when it was all done, I mean, you have to drop in, throwing it in the sink full of water, sweeping it across the room, doing all this. I mean, it was still recording and still perfectly fine. I mean, I'm sure, the action is rugged also, but it still has to be tested.
You wouldn't do that with this, but
did you throw your pocket in the sink across the room, Marcus?
yeah. Well, that's the point. And that's why I ended up buying the Hero 7. But that just cracks me up. I have not seen that video, but that so sounds like Brian.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I'm sure the action is rugged, but I mean, it's still, before we can say it's as rugged as the Hero 7, it has to be tested.
Yeah, so Koopy's got some more good points here. He said he's already looked at looked at one review, and he said the Rocksteady looked marginally better. So that'll be interesting to see.
That's good. But again, as I talked about before, it's a mature market. I mean, it probably is slightly better, but the Hero 7 is so good that, I mean, most of us aren't going to need slightly better. I mean, slightly better is always good, but I mean, I never walk around thinking, man, I wish this thing was slightly better. Do you have that thought, Marcus? Again, it's not a thought that I have when I'm walking around with the Hero 7. I wish this was slightly better. I don't do that.
Yeah, you're right. Koopy brings up another good point, and I have noticed that too, John, that this guy does get hot sometimes. And that was one of the things that DJI is extolling, is that they have cooling technology built into the Osmo Sport. So,
right.
Although while this thing may get hot, it's never affected its performance that I've ever seen.
That's the key point. I mean, my MacBook Pro gets hot sometimes when I'm rendering video, but it doesn't hurt the computer, or it doesn't start a fire. There's no downside to it. I mean, again, if this is taking 4K video for a long time and it gets a little hot, I would kind of expect that. Again, as long as it doesn't damage the video, I don't lose files. It's no downside to it.
Hey, Bill Thomas is in the room. He's in the house.
Welcome, Bill. Good morning from the West Coast.
Hey, so that's the thing, John Koopy. I'd be interested to know, when you found your GoPro hot, has it ever affected performance that you've seen? Anyway, we'll give him time to answer that.
And two, a lot of devices get hotter when you use them in the, of course, the summer months. I mean, so far I've been using this out in freezing temperatures and so on. The heating issue is no problem then in the wintertime. So, but again, we'll see how hot it gets. Well, I had it in Florida, and I didn't notice it getting extremely hot when I was in Florida for 2 weeks. But again, my testing in the winter in New Jersey here, heating up is no issue in New Jersey in the winter months. I'm sure it's the same way in Idaho.
Same way in Idaho. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So let's see. Senator Perry makes a good point. Wireless charging would be a great thing to offer. That's an excellent point, because
I don't think I saw that in the show notes, so I don't think it has wireless charging.
No, it doesn't. But he's saying that he would pay up for that, and I totally agree with you there. That would be another one of those killer features, wouldn't it?
Mark, I'm one of those people. I mean, I love the idea of wireless charging, and I have wireless chargers for like my iPhone, but most of the time I just plug it in, because plug it in charges up like 5 times as fast.
Well, what Senator Perry is saying, and I totally agree, is if you had wireless charging, you wouldn't have to break that waterproof seal, and that's a big deal.
Well,
and then John Koopy is also adding that he has had his GoPro shut down from long durations of overheating, 20 minutes plus. So I've never experienced that, John. That's good to know.
I mean, I think John has a Hero 4, which is a couple generations behind, but now the Hero 4 is smaller than the Hero 7, because the Hero 7 gained all his weight by making it waterproof. It doesn't need a waterproof case now, but it makes the Hero 7, when I say slightly bigger, probably more than slightly bigger than the Hero 4, but I don't know how that affects the cooling.
Hey, so Hugh Pollock makes another good point too. So he's got the Sony A5100, which I always forget about that camera, but that's another one that a lot of vloggers swear by.
Right.
They love them. A lot of those guys use it.
That has
I believe
that has a mechanical gimbal in it rather than electronic stabilization, I believe, Marcus. Maybe you can confirm that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I do know that it's one that a ton of bloggers use for video quality, and I'm probably willing to bet audio as well probably plays into that. So yeah, he talks about it getting boiling hot. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, listen, guys, I mean, we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes. This has been a great chat, and I'm glad, Koopy, thanks for coming in and contributing so heavily to the show in the chat. We should have had you on the air, buddy. I should have talked to you and Senator Perry and Perth West. Why I'm wrapping up this early is that I got some show note announcements here. Marcus and I are going to watch a few reviews, and then we're going to go live with Bill the Drone Reviewer at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bill the Drone Reviewer's YouTube channel. And we will also have a special guest in the house with us, Bill Thomas from Coast to Coast Drones. So we have a 4-man panel, and we will have watched some of the big reviews, and we will know a little bit more information than we have now. This is kind of a first look.
Hey,
go ahead, Marcus.
This is important. This is critical.
Go ahead.
Mr. Throw his camera in the sink is in the house. True Drone Reviews is here.
Brian, we were talking about you when you reviewed the Hero 7 and you threw it in the sink and you swept it in the kitchen. That's maybe the best action camera review in the history of YouTube.
Yes, in the history of YouTube.
You said it. That's certified gold star review. But anyhow, one more programming note. So I say this all before we get off of here. Then at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Marcus, you could say the Central Time, we will be back. The four of us will be back again on the Coast to Coast drone show, Drone Therapy, with, of course, Bill Thomas as our host, Marcus Crawford, Bill the Drone Reviewer, and myself. After watching probably many more videos on the Osmo action, we'll even be more informed tonight. And who knows, maybe we can even have some special guests pop in tonight on that show. Who knows? So I'll throw it back to Marcus for some final thoughts before we end this, because we can't go on forever here because we got to save our voices up for only 2 hours from now.
It's going to be a long day. Well, listen, I guess it's a little. I'm a little disappointed. I'll just say that I feel like it's a little slap in the face to those of us that bought the Pocket a little bit, and I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more competitive price. But that's about the size of it. It looks to me like it's going to be a phenomenal product. And nobody that buys it will be disappointed. So yeah, that's about it. I'm looking forward to watching some of the reviews of some of the big time YouTubers, and quite frankly, guys that are real photographers that really know some of the differences, and we'll see what goes on. Thank you to everybody in the room. We had a pretty good turnout for this earlier in the morning deal here.
Thank you, Marcus. Perth West says you have a busy day, Ron. I've never done this so much live streaming at once. This will be my world record. And Brian says, LOL, nobody watched the Hero video that he posted, whatever. Well, we're pumping it up, Marcus. That thing is going to go viral after this show. So you can send Marcus the royalty checks when all that money starts rolling in from YouTube. And FSU grad said he'll see us at noon. So we'll bring the sandwiches and iced tea, right, Marcus?
That's it.
And everybody watch the show. I hope you guys received the free box of donuts that were supposed to come to all viewers. Donuts and a hot cup of Joe.
Hey, we had a couple late guys coming in. Drone Obsessed Jerry and Greg Pittman, just wanting to acknowledge them.
Oh, thank you for joining us, guys. We're about to wrap this up, but go ahead and watch the replay. It's a short one. It won't take you long to watch the replay. It wasn't a lot of fluff in this video, Marcus, right? We got right to the point and stuck to the subject for once in our life, right? We stayed on point.
Well, and our commenters really added a lot of really good stuff here, too. This is some of the best comments I've seen on
ever, and especially John Coopy. We're going to give you the Commenter of the Year award for this show. In fact, we should just do John a link and had him pop on. I didn't know he'd be up this early. John lives in the Midwest now, which I guess is probably still better time than you, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm on Mountain Time, so that's one more hour west. Yeah,
I should just pop this link to John, but oh well. Again, we're going to thank everybody for joining us, and anybody that's free at noon, come on back to Bill the Drone Reviewers channel, and we're going to dive into it a little bit more deeper and see what see if Bill the Drone Reviewer could turn into Bill the Action Camera Reviewer for a half hour or so, right, Marcus?
That's exactly right. Well, I will be very interested to see his take on this whole thing, as well as Bill Thomas, I know, is going to have some interesting points to make.
Definitely. So, again, thanks, everybody. You have a good morning wherever you are. I hope the sun's shining and the spring weather is around. So, on that note, we'll see you at noon. Goodbye.